What's up, guys? Welcome to episode 20 of the Let's Talk Nerdy podcast. On this episode, we are talking Mario vs. Donkey Kong, Aquaman Lost Kingdom, Gargoyles, and Tekken 8.
From dusk till dawn, nighttime belongs to the dog. On the street past midnight, look for him in the morgue.
Look for him in the morgue. Dr. Dre.
If I'm not back in 5 minutes, just wait longer.
You are now tuned in to the Let's Talk Nerdy podcast.
I love it when you talk nerdy to me.
Would it help if I barked it?
Oh, I was a little DMX.
The little DM with a hood, with a hood.
That's
with a
funny,
hood
but I
at.
got pretty close. Like I said, Dr. Dre, like that era, so I kind of got there.
We're giving it to you, man. We're giving it
No,
to you.
you can't give it to me. It's a completely different person. That doesn't make any sense.
You got it after the bark. We're counting it.
All right. Well, anybody
All
can get it
right.
after the bark. Like that's easy money.
Just take the freebie. How was your week, man? What's
It was
going
good.
on?
It was good. As you know, I have been playing the Crew Motorfest, which I should have a review up by the posting of this episode, and I am enjoying it. I love a
having
good
fun?
racing game. Yeah, it is fun.
Yeah.
There's a few things in it that I'm like, but other than that, I'm having a lot of fun. I think that is more of a skill issue rather than a game issue. So, but yeah, see, yeah.
Guys, he's super excited.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. Before we started recording the podcast, he made sure to tilt over and show
Yeah.
me that the steering wheel is set up.
Yes.
He's got it's got a nice little system on it. That's sick, man. That's
Up and
sick.
running, up and running. I actually
Up
found
and
like
running.
my third monitor that has been just sitting in like storage that I just don't use. And I was like, you know what? I have a second desk that doesn't get used anymore. And I was like, let's make it a racing simulator setup. So super excited about it. I love the game. I think the worst like driving event for me is drifting. I cannot figure it out.
Just in that game or in
Just
like any
drifting
game?
in general.
Yeah.
Like it's
Drifting
so
is-
funny because like I had it like the hardest difficulty -1, so like I don't know what that is. I can't remember the name of it. I don't actually think 4 out of 5 is what it said. So I had it 4 out of 5, and like you had to get 65,000 drift points, and I was like, okay, like that shouldn't be too hard. Like I'm doing okay. Nope, I could barely get like 6,000. So like I ended up putting it all the way down to the easiest, which is only 5,000 points, and I still barely got it. Like I think I finished with 8,000 points. I'm like, this is annoying, and you have to beat it to like continue that playlist or that part of the campaign. So
They wanted you to get 65,000 drift points.
yeah,
This is Adam Tokyo Drift Master.
Yeah.
It's just on the ones and twos.
yeah. I think that the highest drift I got was like 2,000, and I was
Drifting
like,
is always super hard
It
in
is.
anything. Honestly, like even on like a kind of low key level,
Mm-hmm.
you know how you have to drift in Mario Kart? Or like
Oh, yeah.
you can. Yeah, like you have to drift in Mario Kart if you're playing online or if you're playing with friends because everybody drifts, and if you can't drift, you're basically like in the dust.
Yeah.
I can't even figure out the drift in Mario Kart.
So Mario Kart's easy, but like I don't know. Mario Kart's is much different. I think part of it though is on the wheel. I can't figure it out. I can figure it out if I had the joysticks, but when I was trying on the wheel, I just couldn't understand the feedback of the wheel, and I just wasn't doing all that well. But other than that, it's a great game. I enjoy it. I recommend it as well. I'm a casual racer, so I can't say it's like super realistic. It's an arcade simulator racer, but I enjoy it. What about you? What are you playing, Dave?
I am not gonna lie, I'm not really doing a ton of gaming right now, but what I am doing is I have jumped into WWE, and there's a very good reason, and I think we should probably let people know about it
Yep.
right now. Just okay. So basically what I've been doing in WWE is creating a bunch of characters, and the reason that we are doing that is because you guys absolutely destroyed it and got us to 500 plus subs, which is absolutely insane. Like honestly, guys, thank you so much. We super appreciate you guys for that. And in honor to celebrate,
That was late.
it's okay. It's all right. It's okay. It's well deserved
Yeah.
at any time. It's well deserved at any time. So in honor to celebrate the 500 subscriber celebration, we will be doing a live event. I think we haven't decided a
We have not
name on
decided
it.
it.
but I think it's probably like a Nerdy Mania or something
Ooh,
like
yeah,
that.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought you were talking about date. Yeah, Nerdy
No.
Mania. That sounds cool.
Yeah, Nerdy Mania
Yeah,
would be
let's
kind
do
of
it.
cool.
I like
But
it.
basically, what we will be doing is we are going to throw a pay-per-view Nerdy Mania event in WWE 2K23. And we invite you guys to take part of it. We got a bunch of cool matches, which we'll announce everything a little bit further down the road. But if just real quick, if you would like to be a part of it, we will be doing a Royal Rumble, fan Royal Rumble. You do not have to come to the live and actually play. This will be a CPU thing. We'll just make your character. We'll put 30 guys in the ring and see who takes the crown. So if you want to be a
Yeah.
part of that, please comment down below. Let us know a little bit about yourself, so we can make your character the way that you want it. And yeah, it should be a lot of fun.
And I'm just gonna say it's not a pay-per-view, it's a per-view.
A per view,
Yeah.
yes.
Nobody has to pay to do anything with this live stream, but it's fun.
I just meant like pay per view, like WWE.
Oh, yeah, I
like,
know what you're saying.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like high profile event. This
Yeah.
is a free per view.
Yeah. Yeah, there we go.
That will be on our live.
Yeah.
So please come hang out, and if you want to be part of it, we would love to have you. Just comment down below a little bit about yourself and what you want your character to look like. We will make your character as best as we possibly can and toss you in the Royal Rumble. It'd be super
Toss
sweet.
you in. And Dave's
gonna be
going
good.
down in one of the main events of me versus him. So we're just gonna go with that right there, starting that off right now.
Okay, I wasn't going to talk about the main event, but Adam's throwing shade on me already, so we're
One
gonna
of the
throw
main
that
events.
out there. One of the main events will be an Adam versus Dave cage match for the championship title. And I believe we could throw it out there that are we going to do the loser buys the
yeah.
trophy for
Yeah.
loser buys the trophy. Okay, so
Since
the
Madden was
loser
such a bust for us.
So loser will have to buy one horrific loser trophy from Amazon and display that on the scene of their Let's Talk Nerdy setup for the foreseeable future. So there's a
Until
lot
we
on
find
the line.
another Adam versus Dave situation.
Until we get 1,000 subscribers and we have another
Oh,
live.
that's a long way. That's all right. That's all right. Let's get into our first topic here. Mario versus Donkey Kong. I'll start it.
Go for it.
Yeah, because I know you're going to jump in a little bit more than I do, but I didn't know this was a game, to be honest. I did not know this was a game that was on Game Boy Advance. And so this is a remaster of an original game that came out in 1994. So that's when I was born, if that puts Dave a little aged. How do you like that, Dave?
5 years after Rugrats aired.
Yeah, there we go. 5 years after Rugrats aired. Okay. And yeah, so it's a remaster of the original game, and it's a puzzle platform game. So I think that's kind of cool. It's a spin-off of obviously Mario and Donkey Kong. And from there, Dave, I'll let you take it away.
Yeah, so Mario versus Donkey Kong has actually been a thing for a very long time.
Yeah.
Do you know when the original Donkey Kong was released?
That was original Nintendo, correct?
Yes, on
Yeah, it
the
was like-
NES.
Yep.
1981.
That's a while.
You believe that? I
That's a
actually,
while.
when I was looking that up, I was surprised. Did you know that Donkey Kong had a series before Super Mario had a series?
I had no idea. Really? When was his first series?
That's crazy, right? Because
Yeah.
the Donkey Kong game was released in 1981, and the first Super Mario Brothers game, 1983. Isn't that nuts?
Interesting. So I wonder if his
So-
fans like the Mario better. They're like, hey, let's release a solo game for them instead.
Yeah, I mean, people like to think that Mario is kind of like the OG of the NES,
Yeah.
but in all technicality, it is indeed Donkey.
Did Donkey Kong have a different name though back then?
I don't think so. I think they still called him Donkey
Okay,
Kong.
maybe I'm thinking of something else. I might be thinking
Yeah,
of something
because-
else.
The game, because the game was Donkey Kong.
Yeah. Okay, you're right.
Right,
My
so
bad.
that had to be his name. But yeah, so this actually goes like a super long time back, all the way back to 1981. This rivalry goes on. If you've never played the original Donkey Kong game, basically it's an NES platformer where Mario is trying to get up to the top of these platforms to save the princess, same concept. But Donkey Kong is up top throwing barrels and,
Yep.
and trying to do all that nonsense.
Yep.
So that actually the feud has been going on for a while, but it's awesome that you mentioned that this is a remake of the Game Boy Advance game, because I actually played the Game Boy Advance game a lot, and I don't know if a lot of people know that this is actually a remake, not a brand new title. So I don't know if you want to roll the trailer, we can take a look a
do you want to
little
roll
bit.
the original gameplay, or you want to roll the announcement trailer of the remake?
Let's roll the announcement trailer,
Okay.
because I think that's the one that everybody is kind of
Yeah.
interested in, and then maybe we could take a look at the Game Boy Advance trailer and kind of take a look at the similarities, though. But yeah, it should be a super cool game. I always really like this game on GBA.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can see lots of platforming. The main premise behind this is that Kong has gone into the Mario warehouse and stolen all of these like Bubble Mario toys. And Mario's whole scheme is to make it through these levels and reclaim the toys that have been stolen. So you can see right here all the toys getting stolen. I think graphics wise it looks amazing too.
Yeah. It definitely modernizes the game by a lot. And so what I saw is that a lot of these stages are very similar to like the original one too.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that I really loved about this game, this game is very much more about puzzle platforming than it is just standard platforming. In a typical Mario game, there's a lot of like running really fast and like trying to make all of these crazy jumps and all that stuff. This is much more like of a chill game to me. It's much more about thought process and figuring out how to get through all of these specific parts of the game, and I really enjoyed that, especially on the GBA, because on a Game Boy Advance you're kind of like limited to fast-paced combat is a little bit harder on a handheld,
right?
So I think this game really kind of works to that a lot.
Definitely.
Yeah. Now you can see the boss battles there, so those are the types of boss battles that you're gonna see with Donkey. Even the boss battles aren't really like action based; they're more of like platforming based.
Yeah, and just trying to stay out of the way of Donkey Kong essentially, and going in to hit him at the same. You know what I mean? Like it's much more slow paced, like you said. One big difference in this one is it is going to be multiplayer, and Toad will be a playable character, which is not the case on the Game Boy Advance.
No, in order to play anything multiplayer on the Game Boy Advance, you had to everybody had to have a Game Boy Advance, and you had to have like 17,000 cables running in between them to make it work. So I think the multiplayer is going to be kind of a cool thing.
Yep.
My only kind of complaint about this though is we talked about, this is a remake. Do you want to roll the Game Boy Advance trailer? Yeah. So I don't know if Nintendo is kind of like trying to pull a fast one here. So you can see the levels from the Game Boy Advance. They're almost exactly the same. Did you notice that?
Yeah, I almost want to say it's not a remake rather than a remaster, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it feels like a remaster, like a reskin. Like all of these levels that we've seen, all of these concepts that we've seen. Look at that. Look at that right there.
Exactly the same one that we saw in the new trailer of the boss battle.
Exactly the same one of the boss battle, and it's the same kind of concept. And specifically that one part where they're like explaining kind of the platforming, where it's like, this tail looks suspicious. And it's like you have to grab onto the tail. It's the exact same game, dude.
And I like you said, I think Nintendo's trying to go a fast one. We're so like to try to get the new audience into it, because like, let's be honest, a lot of kids play the Nintendo Switch, and then so like if they see remaster, they're like, oh, it's an old game, I don't want to play it. So I wonder if that's kind of why they're doing it, and not so much saying, hey, it's a straight up remaster, because actually you can still play this on Nintendo. Like the Game Boy Advance one is available on Nintendo Switch, like in that catalog, I believe.
Yeah, like in their retro catalog.
Yeah, yep.
It's like, I'm not upset about it, but it just seems suspicious that they're not saying anything about it being a remake or a remaster. It's like, I'm excited because I like the game and I would love to see it with a fresh coat of paint. But I mean, if they said if they said Mario vs. Donkey Kong remaster, I would be like, okay, I wouldn't even think twice about it. But they didn't, and it seems suspicious that like maybe they're just throwing a new skin on an old game and being like, this game is 20 years old, people aren't gonna know.
Right. And I think that's kind of what they're doing with it. But at the same time, do you think it matters?
I don't think it matters,
Yeah.
but it still feels wrong. It just it's just hard for me to explain it. It just feels I feel like I'm being deceived by Nintendo. And the number one thing here is going to be the price. Do you know the price of the game?
Is it $70 or $60?
I don't know the price of the game,
Oh.
but if the game comes, that's why I was asking if you figured it out. If this game is anything more than like $29,
Right.
I'm going to be very suspicious because a remaster typically does not cost that amount of money.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'm doing a quick Google search here. Donkey Kong price. It's going to be $50.
It's $50.
Yeah.
I feel like they're pulling the wool over our eyes, guys.
Yeah, I can kind of see that now for sure.
Yeah.
But I mean, Nintendo, they never like the big thing with Nintendo, they never lower the price on any of their games. They're pretty cheap on, or they're pretty stingy on lowering the prices on their games. And so I wonder, like, it's still as good as it was back then. So, or it's even better than it was back then. So we're raising the price up to 50. Granted, it's still not. Is that Nintendo's full price? Usually is $50.
I think it's $60
Yeah.
now, but still,
Yeah.
I mean, it's a reskin, guys.
Yeah.
It's a reskin. I feel very, very.
You get to play
I
as
feel
Toad.
like I feel like they're taking advantage of us. I'm not gonna lie, and I love Nintendo. I'm a huge Zelda fan. I love I love the N64. Like I love the Super Nintendo. You know, I'm a huge retro guy. So Nintendo, I don't know. I always try to speak highly of Nintendo, and it's like this one. I really, really, really feel like they're taking advantage of people, and I don't know. It just seems super sus.
I mean, you can think that all you want, though, Dave. At this end of the day, they're a multi-billion-dollar company, and we're just sitting in our makeshift podcast. You know what I mean? Or our rooms and stuff, talking about it.
Yeah.
We're the ones talking about it. They're the ones selling it. So
It's just weird too, because we do, you guys know, we do a lot of research when we do these shows. We try to give you guys the best, most up-to-date, most accurate information we can find. And it seems like a lot of people aren't really talking about this, and it just doesn't make sense to me why it's so hush hush and why it's so not talked about within the community. And if like I said, if they said this was just Mario versus Donkey Kong remastered and the price is $29, we're not having this conversation. But
Right.
they're trying to put it out like it's a new game, charging $50 for a reskin, and you can play as Toad, which okay, great, but is that worth like an additional $20 on a reskin? Like, I don't think so.
I don't know. I think
don't.
also is like Nintendo, they haven't been pushing much out recently. Like nothing big. Like Mario Wonder's coming out, Mario RPG, and I think this is just like they're trying to have a slew of games. They're like, everything's new. You guys have been asking for new stuff, so here it is. You know what I mean?
That's part of the topic that I was going to bring up. And I was like, when was the last time that like Nintendo had like a big announcement?
Yeah,
they did Breath of the Wild 2.
Yeah.
And then we've had this super long gap, and then, the new Mario's coming out.
Yep.
But like in between that, like what is going on? Like
I mean,
why
in
are they
between
not
that,
putting
it's
out
only
new
been
games?
about 2 or 3 months.
It feels like Nintendo turns over quicker.
You
You know what I
think?
mean? Like it seems like every like 1 to 2 months, Nintendo has like a big drop, because we talked about this before. Their franchises are the only thing really keeping them alive. It's not
Yeah.
the hardware, right? So they have to keep staying consistent and putting out new content and
Right.
new games. And it's like, for some reason, there's been this lull in Nintendo where we haven't seen anything since Breath of the Wild 2. Now they're throwing out this very sus reskin and trying to push it as a new game. Mario is not far out, but far enough out where it's like, what
Next
is
month?
happening?
October 20th.
I just feel like it's been long enough
Yeah.
between the two where it's like, what is going on at Nintendo?
I think part of it, though, is they're preparing to announce their next console. That's been kind of a big rumor that the next Switch or the next Nintendo device is going to be announced here soon. So I wonder if they're just preparing to put all their marketing and like money into that right now.
So you think they've been working on Switch 2?
Yeah, I think that's what it's turning into because there's a lot of rumors and leaks that the next Nintendo console is coming out, whether it's Nintendo Switch 2 or something else. I think that's kind of where maybe they're going next. Because when was the Nintendo originally released? 7, 8 years ago now? Oh my God,
the Switch. Oof,
yeah,
I can't even tell you. Probably 7 years now.
Let's see. Switch release date was 2017. So yeah, about 6 years.
2017?
Yeah,
really?
it feels longer than that.
It does. It feels way longer than that.
So I guess really not that long, but that's kind of the cycle of like Nintendo. What about the Wii U? Like I wonder if it's every 7 years, roughly. Yeah. Well, the Nintendo Wii U was 2012, so 5 years. So yeah, they're slated to release another one, especially because like the PlayStation 5, they're already talking about PlayStation 6 already. So like I feel like Nintendo's like, all right, we need to come up with our next console because like everywhere else is moving forward and we're still stuck at this one that's over 7 years old.
Yeah, and they need to make some pretty serious hardware adjustments.
Yeah, I love the Switch too, but like you said, like it's becoming outdated in terms of performance. The games are always super fun. Like I enjoy playing every game I buy on Nintendo. Like the Mario 3D World, that was cool, and I'm gonna get Mario Wonder. So like, there's games that I'm excited to play, but they just they don't run as smooth as what I'm used to playing on, like, let's say the PlayStation, the PC, or the Xbox. So I think that's where they're trying to put their focus. Like they want to release the content. So they're like, all right, what can we do in the interim until we can talk about this publicly? Like, okay, Mario vs. Donkey Kong, that was a great game on the Game Boy Advance. Let's put it on the Switch. Don't say it's not a remaster, but also like don't say it's a brand new game. I think that, like you said, they're being a little bit shady, but I wonder if they're just putting stuff out there to keep people held over until the next console.
Guys, should we tell them it's a remake? No, don't do that. It's 20 years old. Nobody's gonna know.
Dave will know.
I know. I'm an old
29
dog.
29 years old, actually.
Yeah, I'm an old dog. You can't get one by me, Nintendo.
Yeah. But
yeah, I mean, I don't want to turn this into a Switch conversation, but I do really think that they need to upgrade the hardware here because like you were talking about, the games run good, but the Nintendo games run good.
Yeah.
If you're trying to, like, I've seen like a bunch of stuff a bunch of stuff is ported over to the Switch and it's always really, really bad. It's like if you're a Switch player, if you have a Switch and you're like anything other than like a casual Nintendo player, if you're any type of like if you have any interests outside of Nintendo games, you basically need a second console. You know what I mean? I think that's something that they need to fix.
Yeah, I was gonna say, so like anything, especially anything competitive, like playing online, forget about it. I tried playing Overwatch on the Switch and like I got torched. Because like it's cross-platform, you can play with other people on different platforms, and like I'm an okay Overwatch player, but when I try playing on the Switch, like on the road or like just on the Switch in general, I never did well. Maybe because I was just so used to playing on the PC, the 120 frames per second or whatever I get. I don't even know what I get, and then trying to go to the Switch, like it just doesn't work.
Just doesn't work.
It just doesn't work. The resolution and it's how small it just doesn't work. But like you said, hopefully they upgrade the hardware to be more of a higher performing console to keep up. Yeah. I wouldn't even say keep up, just advance themselves.
Advance themselves. I mean, like Nintendo games are typically not, super crazy. Mm-hmm. You don't really need 120 FPS for most Nintendo games. I mean, jumping around as Mario doesn't really require frame by frame accuracy, but I mean, still, like, you need to, Nintendo needs to kind of get with the times here, and
I agree.
We'll see if they do it. Yeah. What about this game though? Are you getting this game?
Probably not.
Yeah. See, like this game was 1,000% about price to me.
Yeah.
It was 1,000% about price. If they dropped this at $29.99, I would have been like, yeah, I like this game. I like this game on Game Boy Advance. Like, I thought it was a good game. I'll check the reskin out, play as Toad, whatever, do all the fun stuff. $50, I can't do it. I feel like I'm getting taken advantage of. I feel like I love Nintendo. Nintendo, if anybody from Nintendo sees this, I love you. I love you guys. I've been a Nintendo fan my entire life. I love Zelda. I love all of it. This one feels a little
Shady.
not right. It feels a little not right, guys.
Yeah, it's funny that you say that. So one thing we got a comment today actually on one of our videos about Liza P, and it was funny that the guy basically said that gaming is dead because everybody is just either remastering or like using the same formula and pasting a new skin on it. And I mean, I could kind of see that with a lot of the games, although I don't see that with Liza P. I think Liza P is a complete. It was our Liza P video, and I was like, I don't necessarily agree. Like, I understand that to an extent, but I don't necessarily agree with that. All games are like that right now. Like, yeah, like there's a lot like that, but there's also a lot of original ones. Like, I think the storyline of Liza P it's pretty cool, and like the mechanics of it, yeah, it's Souls like Bloodborne like, but it's different too. You know what I mean?
I understand what he's talking about to a sense. Yeah, the story is different, but I think he might have been talking a little bit more mechanics wise.
Yeah.
Yeah, the mechanics behind the game, very much a copy.
Right.
Yeah, very much a copy. So I understand that.
But the thing is, people have been asking for a Bloodborne 2, Bloodborne remaster, like, and we just haven't gotten it. You know what I mean? So I think like this is the next best thing that we'll get to one of those. So like for somebody to complain about it doesn't really make sense to me. You know what I mean? But maybe he's not a Bloodborne fan.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I think it has a lot to do with who you're copying, right? So if people are excited for people love Dark Souls. People love Souls-like games. They love the franchise. So if you're copying something like that it's something that people want more of and they're not getting it from the source, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because like, would I love for From Software to put out a game every single year and I could just like eat them up? Like, yeah, I would love that, but they can't. You know what I mean? So like these kind of second versions get me along to the next phase. You know what I mean? So I do understand that. I personally think that kind of relates more to movies than video games. But
I think it's content in general nowadays. And you kind of say that. This is kind of going on a huge tangent, but like, what is TikTok? Something goes viral, everybody does it because it's viral. You know what I mean? So you do what's working, and if it stops working, you quit doing it and you move on to something that is working. And I think that's kind of what it's turning into. It's just not so much like they're just trying to throw crap together. It's just you pick what works, what's going to make you the most money, and then you just go for it and try to make it a good game. The ones that aren't a good game, they don't move forward. Like, what was that? We were literally just talking about one the other week. It's like that. There's the one that got or number 2. I can't remember what game we were talking about, but is that forgettable? Like, we were watching it. It was like there was a first one of these. Like, this is the third one. I can't remember what game that was. I'm gonna blank. I'm kind of drawing a blank here. It was during our episode 18 episode, The Awakener. It was The Awakener.
Oh yeah, Awakener.
See, we've already forgotten about that one because like that's a forgettable game, and it just didn't like work in the first place. And so like it's one of those things like it's not working, so stop. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think
it's
just going along with the things that are working. You know what I mean?
This is going on a huge tangent for sure, but like, TikTok, like you could scroll through TikTok and hear like the same 4 songs over and over. You know what I mean? Because it's like everybody kind of gets on that viral loop, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, I say this all the time, if people want new ideas, we have to support new ideas and we have to stop accepting I'm trying to think of a good way to say this. We have to stop accepting the copycat mediocrity of new content. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because it's working. And it's like, we as consumers and gamers and moviegoers and just content absorbers, we have control over that. If we decided that like this game is a copycat and we want something new, don't play it. Yeah. Like don't play it. You know what I mean?
Or if you do play it, review it with the honest review that you have. Like put a 1 star on it, and the more 1 stars, that will tick to new people like, hey, this game is awful. I'm not buying it. You know what I mean?
Right, exactly. It's like a lot of people complain that everything's the same and everything's a copy, and like then they go see the Dumb and Dumber 20 year later remake, and it's like, dude, you just supported the thing that you hate. Like it's as long as people keep doing it, that's what we're gonna keep getting, and it's kind of crappy.
Yep, but we digress. But that was, I think it was fluid with what we were talking about with the whole Mario versus Donkey Kong. And with
I think it's fluid. Let's move forward. We really flew off the handle there.
Yeah, we did. We did. With that said, let's kind of move forward to a blind ranking of blind ranking of Mario characters. And this is the Mario realm in general. So any character that's appeared in Mario.
We were talking about copycat, no new content, so it's fair that Marvel's on the brain.
Yeah, right. And yeah, here we are copycatting like our same blind ranking every week because it works for us, you know? So Mario blind ranking without knowing what comes next.
Blind ranking. We will flip the coin just because I want to flip it.
Boop.
God, it's weighted, dude. You're first.
All right, I am going to blind rank you first.
All right, let's go. I need redemption after this last blind ranking.
I kind of screwed you the last one though. All right,
it's all right. I'm gonna make it through.
Your first choice is Luigi.
Oh, I love Luigi. I think Luigi's top tier. I'm gonna put him at a 2. I'm gonna put him at a 2. I like Luigi. I think it's a great story. I think he's one of the few characters that kind of got out of the shadow of the original OG character and kind of went on to do his own thing. And I like Luigi. Number 2.
I respect a number 2 for Luigi. All right, your second choice is Boo. King Boo specifically.
Ooh. I'm gonna put King Boo at a 5, just because I know that I like kind of the spooky, scary kind of stuff, but I will admit that the ghosts are the most annoying enemy in Mario games. So I'm gonna put it at a 5.
All right.
All Mario games, the ghosts are the worst.
The next one is Wario.
Ooh. I'm gonna put him at a 3.
Okay. All right.
I just like him. I just think he's funny. I think he's a funny, like, perfect, like, anti-Mario. I don't know. I think it's a good representation.
I like it. Your next choice is Shy Guy.
Oh no. I'm gonna put it at a 4 just because I can't put it at a 1, and I gotta hope you give me something good.
I think you're gonna like the next character. Your last and final pick is Peach.
Princess Peach.
Princess Peach as your number 1.
Number 1. I will take it. I will take it. I actually like that.
Respectable list.
That was a respectable list. Princess Peach, OG, and Mario 2. That hover effect, that's cheater mode, and I love it. I love it to death.
I like it. All right,
Let's go. I'm okay with that. Okay. All right. I'm excited for this one.
Let's hear it.
Your first pick, Yoshi.
Oh, 1.
Really?
1. Yoshi's number 1.
No way,
He's
dude.
one of my favorite characters. That's not a question. Like, you couldn't give me a better character.
You're gonna burn number 1.
Number 1 easily.
I'm sorry, guys. I screwed up. We were trying to screw him, and it didn't work.
No, that was the easiest one that I've ever done in these blind rankings.
Number 2, Toad.
Oh, 2.
I'm giving up. I'm giving up right now. Number 3, Bowser.
Did you put him in order?
Did I really? I'm really just putting them in order.
I'll put it in 3.
Wow. Number 4, Donkey.
Ooh, okay. I had to put him at a 4.
Okay, and number 5 is Mario.
I'm okay with it, to be honest. You gave me my first
okay
3.
With that?
Yeah, 1, 2, 3 is easy. 4, 5, I'd switch them around. I think. You know what? No, I wouldn't. I would keep Mario below Donkey Kong. That's a great list, Dave.
This is nonsense. This is nonsense.
I can't believe you did that. Next topic. All right. Next topic is Aquaman Lost Kingdom, the second movie of the DCEU. Aquaman.
You go first. I don't want to talk about this.
Why? Why don't you want to talk about it, Dave? Because you
I don't know.
stomped on in the blind ranking.
No, this is another thing that I don't think people know and are ready for, and I don't want to talk about it really, but we're talking about it.
Here, I'm gonna say what Dave's thinking. I'm Dave right now.
It's not like the comics. I don't like this. It's not like the comics.
Am I right, Dave?
I love that you gave me the deep tone voice.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
No, dude, this, and I'm gonna go out there and say that this could be quite possibly the most controversial movie of 2023, and I don't mean comic book movie. I mean movie. There's a lot that I don't think people know.
Okay. So yeah, let's kind of dive into the trailer first, and we'll kind of get into all that.
Okay.
So
yeah, let's dive into the trailer.
Now I'm curious because I think I know where you're going with this.
Yeah.
But
okay.
So
So
this
guys,
one
if
is
you're
going
just
to take place 9 months after the first one. And it seems like Aquaman or Arthur is a family man. He's got a little baby, Aqua Baby.
Baby.
He's talking with his daddy-o here, his land daddy-o. And one of the main antagonists is going to be Black Manta, which should be showing up any second here. Oh, maybe not.
I love how they do the classic "I'm gonna stop the train," but they do it underwater, like the Spider-Man 2, holding the train back. I love they do the classic "we're gonna save the train," but do it underwater. Visually, this looks stunning.
Yeah, it's a great, stunning movie. It looks like there's some sort of sporting event. And here's the Black Manta.
Yeah, and his vessel is shaped like a hammerhead shark. That's so sick.
Yeah,
it's
visually,
so sick.
I think it's a great looking movie. And let's be honest, Jason Momoa, he's a good Aquaman. Say what you want about the DC universe, but he's a good Aquaman, and
he really is.
Yeah, and I can stand by that for sure. I don't know who that Groot looking guy was, but I'm kind of curious.
And right here, guys, if you're just listening on the Spotify, we're getting the return of Orm there.
Yep. So it looks like they're going to join forces to stop Black Manta because
Step Brothers.
Yep, Step Brothers. Black Manta. I'm kind of leading ahead here, but essentially, it looks like Black Manta gets his hands on a trident that gives him even more power. Which again,
the Black Trident.
Yeah, the Black Trident. Oh, there it is.
Yeah, you can see it right there.
Yep, jumping a little ahead, and it seems like it has the power to control the undead, kind of like a Thor Ragnarok situation, if I do say.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, but overall, I think the visuals is really cool, and I'm excited for that aspect of the movie. But I know, Dave, you said you have things that will make this a controversial movie. But essentially, this movie is taking place 9 months after, so that's the time where how long it takes for to make a baby appear, you know?
That's how long it takes to make a baby. You heard it first on the Let's Talk Nerdy podcast. I mean, visually, it looks stunning. You know, I'm a huge fan of underwater stuff. I don't know. I just love the underwater vibe, and I think.
December 20th. Sorry, I jumped ahead.
No, you're good. You're good. So I think, like we talked about a little bit, Jason Momoa is a great Aquaman, and I think, when it comes to Aquaman from a DC Comics perspective, Aquaman's always been kind of like the redheaded stepchild.
Yeah.
You know, always played second fiddle to Batman and Flash and Superman and some other more popular characters. But when it comes to the DC cinematic universe, Aquaman is actually one of my favorite representations from the comic because I think they do a really good job. Do you want to talk a little bit about the movie, or do you want me to talk about why I think it's going to be very controversial?
I'll talk a little bit about the movie. So like I said, it takes 9 months after the first movie. It's a revenge story, obviously, because Mantis' father was killed by Arthur himself, Aquaman, and Mantis seems to have come across a more powerful entity. So the Black Trident, which has been made for the movie, it's not in the comics, I believe. It's a new thing.
Not in the comics, no.
Yep. and it seems that it can possess the bed or the dead. It can possess in the bed. Interesting. And it looks like how Dave said, we're gonna get that stepbrother situation. Well, they're real brothers, so even better.
Half brothers.
Yeah,
so
half
it is kind of a
brothers.
stepbrother
Yeah,
situation.
yeah. Half brother. So he's gonna call his brother probably to help save Atlantis, and the Lost Kingdom is the seventh kingdom becomes found. So that's kind of the gist of the movie. Essentially, I'm guessing that it's gonna be Mantis takes revenge by killing everybody he loves, which I think, Dave, you might be going into this. In the comics in 1970, like the 70s comics, Black Mantis steals the baby and murders the baby by suffocating him with oxygen. So I think that's where Dave's going to go with this. So I can't imagine that they're going to kill a baby in a 2023 movie, but that's, I don't know. But that's kind of the story in the 70s, and we'll kind of
You
see
just blew the lid wide open,
I
Adam.
did.
You blew the
I
lid
did.
wide
So,
open.
Dave, take it away, because I think that's where you're going to go with it.
Yes. Okay. All right, guys. So, in the comics, Aqua Baby, like Adam said, is taken by Black Manta. He is murdered.
Black Wait, hold on. Have I been saying Black Mantis this whole time?
I think he might have.
Oh my goodness, Black Manta.
Okay, but anyway, so yes, in the comic books, Aqua Baby does not make it. And if you look into the trailer, right? If you look at the trailer, we see a lot of foreshadowing here.
Yep.
We see the scene where Black Manta is standing on top of the rubble that used to be the lighthouse. It's all on fire. We kind of see Jason Momoa stepping into a role where it almost feels like he might not be Aquaman any longer. Does that make any sense to you?
Maybe a little bit. Well, expand on it. Let's hear what you're thinking.
Okay, so Aquaman, when he's coming in the beginning, right? He says, "Oh, I have a job now." Blah blah blah. He's the king of Atlantis. You know what I mean? And it's like he thinks of this as a job, maybe specifically something that he does not want to do.
Right.
It seems like there's going to be a lot of tragedy in this movie. And it's going to be a situation where maybe Jason Momoa is no longer Aquaman, and maybe we're getting a return of Orm taking over the kingdom. That's kind of the feeling that I'm getting from this movie. So I think it's going to be a very controversial movie. And if you really look at like the information behind it, there's been a ton of test groups that have seen this movie.
Yep.
And most of them have walked out.
Really?
There has to be something that happens in this movie that makes people so upset that they cannot finish watching the movie. And I think the death of a baby is a pretty good spot, right?
Yeah.
Like that's where you would probably walk out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I could see that for sure. Or is the story just so bad that people are like, okay, I can't watch this anymore? I
don't think so, because you got to think of it this way: you're a test audience, right? These people are getting paid to watch the movie.
That's true. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And for them to call it, something really has to go down. And I'm nervous that this movie, the storyline is one that people aren't really aware of until we just kind of crack the code on the baby not making it in the comics. And it's like, is this movie just going to be so full of despair and just heartbreak? And at the end, Jason Momoa steps away from being Aquaman, and people leave this movie like, oh my God, what just happened? Like, I just watched the most horrific thing ever. The saddest story I've ever seen. My favorite DC character is no longer a superhero. Like, what my whole world has been rocked in 2 hours.
Right.
Yeah.
I wonder, I don't know, because a lot of it also shows him smiling and laughing with his brother. So I wonder if he like calls upon him before all this despair and stuff like that. Like, you know what? My brother's not such a bad guy. Let me go get him. Let me save him. but I know something's coming. Like Black Manta has already like done some things, and now I need his help. He got a hold of this trident, and Aquaman's like, yeah, I need to go grab my brother, like for help. And then maybe that's when all the despair kind of kicks in. I can see it that way, I suppose. But I think if the test audience is doing this so early, do you think they like change what they're gonna do, or is it too late to change what they're gonna do?
I mean, I think if this many people are if this many test audiences are walking out, they will change it. I will say though, they probably are not going to have the ability to change it to such a degree that it becomes just like this very pleasant story. If Aquababy does end up making it, somebody else will not.
Right.
So I'm calling it right now. If Aquababy does end up making it, we are losing either Mira or possibly even Aquaman himself, and Orm takes over as the Ocean Master. We're losing somebody. We're losing somebody in the storyline. It's going to happen.
That's tough because nobody ever wants to see. Well, nobody wants to see a baby die ever. You know what I mean? Like
Ever.
that's
Never.
ever. If you say like, yeah, I'm expecting this to happen in a movie, and like you're like, oh, it's okay, like that. No, you can't say that. Like there's no person in this world that will just go like, yeah, who cares if a baby dies? Nobody's ever going to say that.
There's two cinematic rules you never break. You
Yep.
never kill a baby. You never kill a dog.
Oh man, you kill a dog. That ruins
That's
a movie
it.
for me. Have you ever seen Marley and Me?
Oh my God, there's nothing that ruins a movie more than the first or the latter of what we just talked about.
Yeah.
Both are horrific and both are showstoppers.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
That's like, so there's like in Call of Duty there's scenes where like a dog's starting to bite your face. I'm like, really? You're gonna make me kill this dog or I die. Like this is the situation. And like
It's horrific.
and oftentimes I let myself die like 6 or 7 times before like, okay, am I emotionally ready yet? And then yeah, it's because you have to continue the story. But like I just can't imagine that they're gonna kill off a baby in that sense. It's gonna be tough if they do.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. And if they follow the comics, that's where it's going.
Yeah.
And if they don't follow the comics, there's obviously something that test audiences don't like about this movie. And I think it's not necessarily storyline. It's horrific enough that people are walking out,
Right.
which is sad, man. It's going to be a sad story. I really do think it's going to be a sad story. And I hope people are ready for it, especially because this drops December 20th.
Yeah,
I mean,
like right before Christmas, and everybody wants joy during Christmas. Why are you gonna ruin somebody's day? You know what I mean?
it's like right before the holiday season, you're just gonna drop this banger of like a horrific storyline
heartbreak.
on us.
Yeah.
So
I will say,
I don't know.
There is something I did read that there is going to be a big emphasis on like saving the earth. I know that was a big thing with this too, like the melting of the ice caps and things like that. And I don't know if you saw like at the end or like at the beginning, like when it showed kind of the iciness with the ice caps, and then even at the end it's like iciness. So I guess like there's like the King of the Undead was in the comics or something like that, and he had the power of like ice and stuff like that. So I wonder if like he's controlling that. I don't know, but then maybe again that's like climate control and all that stuff can kind of be controversial too. So I wonder if that's like, oh, like they don't care about the earth, or they're caring too much about the earth in this movie. I don't have to get into all that, but I don't know. It's tough to say at this point. So
regardless of what side you're on, I mean, like we're not that podcast, so we're not going to get into it. But I just always prefer if they kind of just leave that stuff out.
Right.
Like
right.
having a cool like ice water scene. Like there's that scene in the trailer where Aquaman is like underwater, and you can tell that he's underneath like the ice and everything like that. Like that looks super cool. And there's also a scene when Black Manta is inside of his ship, but he has like a winter jacket on, and you can see some like dusting of snow on his coat, which makes me believe that he found the trident maybe somewhere in like that frozen territory, and there's a reason why they're all there. But yeah, I mean, I hope they don't turn it into a like global warming plug.
Right. It's not to say that it's not important, but it's just, again, we're not that podcast, so
yeah, I mean,
but
it's just always kind of good to leave those things out.
Right.
Of it. But regardless of this, there's a lot going on that could potentially be very bad about this movie. I hope it's good. I really do, because I do love Aquaman. Like I said, I love the movie franchise, and I love the visuals, aesthetics of Aquaman. I think it's one of the coolest, like, visually things that you can look at of the DC universe. I think it's super sweet. So I hope it's good.
I agree. Okay,
Yeah.
Dave, here's a question for you.
Real quick, I do want to talk about the scepter, just real quick.
Yeah, go for it.
Or the trident, actually, because I think I have an idea of where this trident is coming from.
Okay.
So we talked about this a lot, that the trident is not actually in the comics.
Right.
But what I believe the trident is really the Dead King's scepter.
Yeah.
So the Dead King's scepter is actually in the comic books, and the Dead King's scepter is one of 7 weapons created by Atlan, and it allows the wielder to control the trench. So basically what you're seeing is all of those monsters and everything from the trench. Whoever holds the scepter controls all of them. So I'm thinking that Black Manta now has control of all these monsters that live inside the trench. He's using them to do the bidding and everything like that. So that was actually in the comic books, the Dead King's scepter, and in the comic books there is a story arc where Black Manta does indeed find the scepter. So I think that's where they're going with. So the trident might have some other kind of things going along with it, but I really think what they're referring to for the comic book fans is the scepter. Yeah, and the one other thing that not a lot of people might see, because they get like a very brief visual of it. But in the trailer, there's that one scene where he's in like the dried up kingdom. I forget the name of the dried up kingdom. But he has the blue suit, and he's invisible. Yeah, that's the blue stealth suit, and I'm super juiced about that. So
And that's from the 80s, correct? The 80s version?
Yeah, that's an old school throwback from the comic book. So I'm super excited that they threw that in there. Just a shout out to the suit. So
yeah, it's hard to say. I think it's going to be a great movie in terms of like the visuals, plot line. We'll find out as soon as we can watch it, but I hope it doesn't ruin everybody's day when you go see it.
I hope it doesn't ruin everybody's holidays, guys.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right,
exactly.
Dave, question for you.
Okay, what's your question? What you got?
If you were to rank this before actually seeing it, where are you going to think you're going to put it? Without knowing.
I have one question before we go to this part.
Yep.
Okay. Real quick, we all know about the Gods and Monsters reset, right?
Yeah. No, I don't.
No?
No.
Okay. Basically, what is happening is once James Gunn takes over, they're doing what's called the Gods and Monsters reset, which is a soft reboot of the DC franchise as a whole. Some characters will go, some characters will stay, some plot lines will go, some plot lines will stay. Everything is going to be kind of revamped and reworked. So my number one question is, does this movie even matter?
And that could be the answer to that question of, is Jason Momoa going to be Aquaman after this? Like, is he going to be dead? Because if they're going to move on to his brother taking over, then no, this movie doesn't matter, I don't think.
This movie only matters in the sense to get Jason Momoa out of the DC universe.
Yeah. Unless they keep Jason Momoa in.
Which fans are going to hate.
Right. Or maybe Jason's done. Maybe he's like, you know what? I don't want to do this anymore. And like,
maybe he decided he doesn't want to be Aquaman anymore.
Maybe. Or I don't know.
There's a lot going up in the air about the DC universe right now, and I think this movie is going to tell us a lot about it. But like I said, guys, I don't know how this movie is going to do. I don't know how the storyline is going to do. I honestly don't even know if this movie even matters. You know what I mean?
And that's kind of like Blue Beetle. Like that movie, that plot line doesn't matter, but they're keeping the actor for Blue Beetle.
They're keeping the actor, but the plot line is dead.
Yep,
so
plot
it's
line's
like,
dead.
Other than the introduction of that character as Blue Beetle, none of that matters.
Right.
So, which is just, I don't know. There's a lot going on with DC.
Hopefully James Gunn can fix it, because DC, I love characters in DC, but the movies and what they've done has been so.
Yeah, horrific. It needs this hard reset, but it's almost like, I know Aquaman was in production. Like, this movie was actually supposed to come out last year. which is why he says in the trailer 4 years. It's been 4 years or something like that. He says in the beginning of the trailer. It's actually been 5 years since the Aquaman movie, since Aquaman 1.
Right.
And it was supposed to be 4 years so that the continuity made sense, but this movie got delayed, so it's actually been 5 years. And He says 4 in the trailer. But yeah, I don't know. I just don't know. I just don't know. I feel like maybe they should have just held off and just like DC's not doing any movies until this reset. Yeah,
I think it's part of it is because they put so much money into it, like before James Gunn took over. So they're like, all right, let's finish it, see how it does. But all right, since none of these movies matter anymore, Dave, I want you to blind rank these DC movies without knowing what comes next. All right,
hit me.
And these are it's not particular in the DC timeline. It's all like DC oversight movies, if that makes sense. So it could be anything.
Born ready.
Okay.
Born ready for this one.
Your first one, Mr. Ryan Reynolds in Green Lantern.
You gave me turds. You gave me 5 hot stinking turds.
No,
I know you did it.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did.
No, I
yes,
didn't.
you did. I'm gonna put it at a 5. I think to be fair, I think even Ryan Reynolds would put it as a 5. I love you, Ryan Reynolds.
Considering that he kills his he kills himself in the Deadpool as Green Lantern.
Yeah, he kills himself as Green Lantern in the Deadpool movie. So I think that's fine with a 5.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
That's
All
fair.
right, your second choice is the newer Suicide Squad, the one with John Cena.
4.
4? Okay. It's not as bad as the first one. The first one was really bad.
They
screwed it up, but
they screwed up Suicide Squad real bad.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
real the franchise as a whole.
Yeah. Your third option is Wonder Woman.
Ooh. She's so hot.
That's awesome.
She's so hot. I'm gonna put it at a 2. I'm putting it at 2. She's so hot. I can't do it. I got one. I got 1 and 3 left, so we got some wiggle room.
Birds of Prey.
Ugh, 3. Thank God I put Wonder Man.
All right, I did you a solid here. The Dark Knight.
Number 1.
Yeah, I set that one up for you.
Let's go.
Yeah. All right, cool.
We're back, boys. We're back.
I set you up for victory on that one.
You did. You did. I am not gonna return the favor. All right, Adam. It is time for you to rank your favorite DC movies from my list.
Yep.
Number 1. I'm gonna throw a wrench in the plan right off the bat. We are going 1978 Christopher Reeves Superman.
Never seen it, so 5.
But get him, guys, get him.
I've never seen
get
it.
him.
Dave,
You've never seen the.
How many years after I was born is that? That's 20 or that's 14 years.
Bro, you gotta see it.
All
Okay.
right, I'll see it.
No, all right. Next one. A little Keanu Reeves in Constantine.
4.
4.
I've never seen it.
Oh, you've never seen Constantine?
No, I haven't.
Dude, it's so good. It's so good.
I'll check that one out for sure.
You gotta see it, you guys. If you've never seen Constantine, it's an amazingly underrated DC Comics movie.
Okay.
Just go check it out. All right, your next one, The Watchmen.
Ooh, that's tough. Because it really wasn't that great of a movie, but the characters are really cool, and the ending
Very
of
cool.
Yeah. Ooh.
Rorschach's dope.
Dr. Manhattan when he just snaps the guy at the end too. Oh shoots. I'm gonna go 2.
Putting it at 2.
Yeah, 1
That's
and
not
3.
that's not a bad bet.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Maybe I didn't dirt you.
Okay.
Aquaman, number 1.
I'll put it at 1. Yeah.
Putting it at 1. Yeah.
Shoots. No, I'll put it at 3. I'm hoping you gave me something better. 3.
Are you sure about that?
I'm pretty sure.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Adam's number 1 favorite DC movie of all time is Batman vs Superman. Let's go.
Shoot. Shoot.
Let's go.
I
Let's
knew it
go.
as soon as you said, "Are you sure?" And then I said, "Yeah, I knew it." Dang it!
Let's
Batman
go.
versus Superman is my number one. That sucks.
Your favorite movie of all
Yeah.
time, Batman vs Superman.
Okay.
Do we just become best friends?
Do we just become best friends? Yep. So funny. All
Good
right,
stuff.
moving on.
Good draft. Moving on.
draft.
Okay. I owed you that one.
Tekken 8.
Doing some Tekken? All right, let's do Tekken.
Tekken
All right.
8. Oh, wait, no,
Let's
no,
go
sorry. Gargoyles. That's
You want to
right?
do it?
Gargoyles?
Okay, Gargoyles. Let's do Gargoyles.
Gargoyles
Gotta get
Remaster. Actually, a
Gotta get-
remaster. They're not trying to swindle us. It is actually a remaster.
They're not trying to swindle us, indeed. This is actually a remaster. Do you know anything about the Gargoyles, or is this your first attempt? This is your first foray into the series. First foray?
Yep,
All
first
right.
foray.
I'm actually super excited about this because this is a show that I really loved as
was
when
a
I was
show?
a kid. Yeah, it was a show, okay? I actually really, really loved this show as a kid, and it originally aired in 1994.
I was born.
And okay. You don't got to keep saying that.
I'm establishing that Dave's older than me this episode.
We only got 3 seasons of the show, which is why a lot of people might not know about it. But it was actually from Walt Disney, and when it came to the Disney style, this was probably the darkest thing that they've done, and I mean that in the sense of this is very much like a very much more mature style of cartoon, and I think that's why I really liked it, because I like kind of like the spooky, like Victorian era, like all of that kind of stuff. And it really kind of reminded me of a Ninja Turtles situation, which is kind of weird. So think of it as like Walt Disney's version of the Ninja Turtles. And basically what it is a band of gargoyles from the 9th century Scotland. They are in charge in the 9th century of protecting this castle. And the castle gets stormed, and the leader of the gargoyles, Goliath, leaves the castle to try to ward off enemies, right? Well, he's gone. The enemies attack the castle, burn the castle down, and the owner of the castle at that time blames him for the fall of the castle and puts a curse on him. So he puts a curse on him and all of his gargoyle protectors in the group, that they will turn to stone and reawaken 1,000 years later. So thousands of years later. So basically what happens is they reawaken in modern day Manhattan, which is a super cool concept.
Right.
And this story was always stone by day, awakened by night, right? So at nighttime, these gargoyles would awaken and they would protect the city and they would do a whole bunch of stuff. But the reason why I kind of always thought it was like a TMNT situation is because they did have a leader named Goliath, a lot like Leonardo.
Yep.
There was 5 other members of gargoyles in this crew, so they all had their kind of differences about them. One was like very smart, which was like kind of a Donatello. One was very happy-go-lucky, like a Michelangelo situation. One was quick to fly off the handle, like a Raphael situation. And they ended up partnering, having an ally in this NYPD cop named Alisa, sorry, who's basically like the April O'Neil of the franchise. So I always kind of saw this as like a dark version of a TMNT done by Walt Disney in the same style of like Batman the Animated Series.
Interesting.
Does that make any sense at
It
all? Or
does.
was
It
I
does
just
make a
all
lot of
over
sense.
the
Just
place?
the way you're describing it. And I think maybe, so did this come out the same time the animated series of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles came out on Nickelodeon? Around then?
I believe it came out around the same time, but it was also the same time as Batman the Animated Series came out on Fox.
Gotcha.
So if you think of like TMNT in like the mannerisms and the style, but think of like the artistic style of Batman the Animated Series, where it's very dark, it's very gray overtones, it's very like moody, and I absolutely just really loved it.
Was that Cartoon Network? Where was Batman on? What?
Batman the Animated Series was on Fox. Now Gargoyles was a Walt Disney. Gargoyles was on Disney, so I believe it was on the Walt Disney Channel. It might have also been on Fox.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So
but
do you think they were competing on like, oh, Walt Disney's like, oh, I need something to kind of be out there with Batman, or do you think it's just happened to be the same time?
I don't think they were competing. What I really think is like the writer of the show, the creator of the show, just kind of really always had this fascination with gargoyles, which I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah,
honestly,
definitely.
do you know where gargoyles came from?
No idea.
I actually looked this up. Gargoyles started in the 13th century, and they were just used as a gutter system.
Interesting.
Isn't that crazy? They wanted like a gothic, like pretty motif to go along with like the gothic structures of like the very intricate style buildings that they had like going along, but they just wanted a gutter system. So basically gargoyles were created as like a water drainage system. So the water would like that looks cool. So like the water would shoot out of the mouth and stuff like that. And then basically it happened, I believe, in like 13th century France, just like stories would come about of like, you know, tales of the like the tales of the land of like these gargoyles would come awake at night and they were like protectors of the cities and stuff like that. That's where it all came from. And the writer had like a real fascination with this stuff, and wanted something a little bit more moody. You know, he did work at Disney, but wanted something a little bit darker, a little bit more moody, and what they came up with was gargoyles. And I think for a Walt Disney series, I think it's a really cool series. And if you haven't seen it yet, check it out because it definitely still holds up today.
Definitely. And we can roll a trailer of the game too.
Yeah, let's roll the trailer of the game. So obviously, as most things that have happened, if a series gets popular enough, they do end up getting a game, especially in, you know, this Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis era. So the game was released by Buena Vista for Sega in 1995. Super Nintendo was going to get a release for this, but it was actually canceled, and I don't really know why it was canceled. But if you're just listening on the Spotify, basically what we're looking at is just your classic Sega Super Nintendo 2D side-scrolling platformer. And I really love the mechanics behind this game. Now, I remember playing this game as a kid, and it was super, super hard. And I don't want to say too many bad things about the Sega because I know a lot of people really, really like it. But I do think this game was really hard because of the Sega. I mean, there was only 3 buttons, and the controller system was just wonky, and I just really hated it. But they really found an amazing way to capture the look and feel of the show, and put it into a video game. And back in that day where you were getting like video game remakes of all these movies and shows that didn't actually kind of look like what you saw on TV, it was very refreshing. And I always thought it was very cool that this game looked exactly like how the show looked.
It definitely looks really cool. Just like the lore behind it and just like the show itself. Because like you said, a lot of those games or TV shows, if it was good enough, every cartoon got a game, like on the Nintendo, the PlayStation, and so on. And it's cool to see that this game or this movie or this TV show was popular enough to get a game that people probably really enjoyed. Like you said, on the Sega it was hard, but who knows about nowadays. And honestly, it looks great. I think the remaster of it looks really good. I think it looks...
I do think the remaster looks amazing. I think they did an amazing job, and just to have a game that like really represents the show the way that you want to be represented. I mean, we've all played like the Home Improvement game or the Dennis the Menace game, or like just any games,
Rocket Power game. Like there's
Rocket
so many,
Power game, like Toy Story, and you're just like, dude, this is not like what the thing is at all.
Yeah.
Like it's so deflating when you're just like, they just took the sprite from like a very popular show and just made a pile of garbage and just marketed this game to me. So I do really, really like this game. And I think people are really gonna like it. So in the game, you control Goliath, who we talked about as kind of the leader. You can see him right there. He's like the cover guy. That's Goliath right there. You're controlling him in modern day Manhattan. It really kind of maintains that hand-drawn feel and appearance of the show that I really, really love. And it's just your classic 2D side-scrolling platformer, kind of beat 'em up style SNES Sega game, and I think it's going to be really, really, really good. And the thing about the remake is, like we talked about with the Rugrats, you're going to be able to toggle between the show graphics and the 16-bit. So you can pump it up into HD if you want to do that. If you're old school like me and you want to rock it in the 16-bit, you can do that. They also added a rewind feature, which I think is really cool because a lot of these platformers and old school type games, they are really hard and kind of unforgiving. So to kind of bring that into the modern era, you do have a rewind button. So if you mess up, you can rewind a couple seconds instead of just dying, having to start the level all over. It does widen the field of view, so you now get a full widescreen feel. And I'm super excited for it.
It sounds like everything that you need to remaster a side scroller from the 90s.
Yeah, it's super amazing, and I already pre-ordered it. So if you guys, I already pre-ordered it. So if you guys are looking for something cool, and you never checked out Gargoyles before, please, check out the show. The show still holds up. It's a cool show. And if you want to check out the game because it is coming. It drops October 22nd. And if you head over to Limited Run, we're not sponsored or anything like that. This is just where I pre-ordered it from, but if you head over to Limited Run, you can order it on the Switch, the PS4, the Xbox One, and I thought this was really cool. They actually put out a Sega cart of it, so they're doing it on a remastered Sega cart, which is really cool.
That's really cool. Yeah.
Interesting. So check it out if you guys want to check out something cool. I like it. I don't know if I hope you guys like it too, but check out the show, check out the game, dropping October 22nd.
October 22nd. Oh, that's coming up. A lot of games at that time, though, Dave. Might be hard to pull somebody in.
A lot of games at that time.
That's all right.
Yeah, it's okay.
Another game coming up. I don't know if is there official release date on this one? Tekken 8.
Let's flip to the chat scene.
The chat scene. The what?
I still see gargoyles.
Oh, shoot. Sorry. Yeah.
That'll save some editing time.
Oh, it would be okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I wouldn't just put it in. But moving on to our next game, coming out soon, I think soon, Tekken 8.
Are you excited?
I can't say I'm super excited, mostly because I've never played Tekken, so it's never been on my radar. But from what I've seen, it looks really cool, and yeah.
I'm excited for it.
Okay, let's hear why.
Tekken 8. Ladies and gentlemen, this game is going to drop January 24th. I've always really enjoyed the Tekken franchise. Mortal Kombat has always been kind of my number one, but Tekken has always been kind of my number two.
Okay.
More so than Street Fighter and a lot of those other franchises. I don't know what it is about Tekken that I like, and I think it might be nostalgia. But Tekken was just always like a classic arcade, like beat 'em up. It was fun. Yeah. I would spend time with my friends in the arcade playing this game, on the cabinet, on the real cabinet, pumping quarters into it. And I think it might just have that nostalgia feel for me. But I will say that when it comes to the fighting games, it's one of the ones that feels the most fluid and fair to me. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I was going to say, so kind of what I've read, though, it's also the most intricate, though, too, in terms of so there's the way they're going to do it in this one is there's an arcade style, which is the Tekken, like, authentic play, but they're also adding a special mode where it's more so like easier combos and assist features to kind of make it a little bit more user friendly for, let's say, somebody that's never really played Tekken or fighting games. And so I think that's definitely more appealing. And like you said, from what I've seen in the trailers, like I said, I've never really played all the Tekkens, but yeah, it feels like it's back and forth, like fluid. The movement's really good. And I think that's pretty cool looking.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to Tekken, I think it's good that they're kind of introducing this like easier mode for the more casual player.
Yep.
Because you guys, like, we know how competitive fighters are.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? These guys are literally studying frame rates on the move, like knowing that like this combination is going to take 10 frames. And it's like, that's really hard to compete with. You know what I mean? Like that's like, I like Tekken, but like I will never be that good. So you know what I mean? So I want like a little bit more of a casual experience. And I think that like, it's cool that they're introducing that and just, you know, giving the casual player the experience that they want. with the gameplay though, they are introducing a bunch of new mechanics like you talked about, and I do think the gameplay. I've always said this, that Tekken feels just fluid. It just feels like it almost feels like a dance. You know what I mean? Like it's hard to explain, but it feels like you're not just button mashing. You know what I mean? Like you kind of get like, especially with fighters, you get into the stance of just like button mashing like crazy. And Tekken always felt like, no, that's not the way to do it. Like you have to kind of plan. You kind of have to plan these moves out, and that's one of the things that I always really loved about it.
Yeah, and I can kind of see that with the game. For me, like you said, Mortal Kombat's kind of always been my thing, but like it's one of those things that you can almost get away with button mashing to an extent.
Yeah.
Like if you really need to, like you can just like spam the same thing over and over. And for me, like I can't play online in multiplayer or like fighting games. I'm just not good enough to like compete with anybody like that. But like I'll play with my friend like on the couch, or I'll message like other friends like, hey, let's jump on Mortal Kombat. Or I do a lot of single player, like the campaign and stuff. And I actually did not know that Tekken had like a story to it. Like I thought it was just like load up the fighting game and fight. But I didn't know that as like a bloodline father-son grudge match kind of situation. I had no idea. That's kind of cool.
Yeah. It actually does have a really good storyline, and they've managed to carry it through 8 games. And I think continuity-wise, it's always kind of made sense. So I think the storyline is great. I do think you get kind of like those weird characters in there that everybody kind of really likes, and I think it's everything that a fighting game really should be.
Yeah,
and don't get me wrong, I like Mortal Kombat. I think Mortal Kombat as a franchise and as a story is much more intriguing to me just because of like the characters and their origin stories. But this is a very close second. I would put Tekken above like Street Fighter. I really like it, and I'm excited for it. And they are introducing some new stuff to this game that I think players are going to really like. They introduced the new rage system.
Yep, I saw
that's
that.
going to be one of the things is the new rage system. So the rage system basically is a period in which you're going to be fighting where you can do excessive damage. They've also, and this is the one that I'm super excited about, they've also reworked the recoverable gauge system. So do you know what the recoverable health is?
Nope.
Okay, so in this game, you're going to be able to have recoverable health, and what that means is when people do combos on you or they do certain attacks and things like that, it will take down your health meter, but you have an opportunity to regain that health back, and it's not in a situation that you may think. It's more about being aggressive, and this comes from Bloodborne, which I really love this concept. So what they want you to do is when you take damage, they want you to stay in the battle and maintain the fight. And typically what happens in a rechargeable like health situation is it just recharges over time.
Yeah.
So what do people do?
They run away until it comes back.
They run away until it comes back, and I can't stand that. I think it just like really kills the flow of the game. It's not that like I'm like, oh, this person's running, like that's like that's what you have to do, you know. But it really kills the flow of the game. In this game, you are going to be gaining your energy back by countering these attacks and blocking incoming like move sets, right? So they're rewarding you for staying in there and continuing the fight, which I think is really, really cool and is going to lead to some really, really great gameplay.
Yeah, I agree. And is that the heat meter? Is that what that one is, or what is that one?
They also introduced the heat system. So the heat system is pretty cool. You can basically, I was trying to do the research on the heat system. I was wondering, I still couldn't figure out if you can activate it once per round or once per fight. Okay. But basically you start off with this heat system activation. And what happens in the heat system activation is when you activate this, you are able to get increased hit percentage, right? So it makes landing blows a lot easier. And characters are going to have specific heat attacks. There's going to be some interesting things about this. I'm curious to see how players are going to use this because it's not something that builds up. It's just something that you have from the start of the fight. So I think you can go 2 ways with this. It's like do you use the heat system right off the bat and get that increased percentage and try to jump out to an early lead,
Right.
or do you save it for like if you get in trouble, you know what I mean, and you're like about to die, and then you activate the heat system and try to come back? Like, I think it's gonna introduce some very cool gameplay. I think all of these things that they're introducing is like going to get players thinking on how to actually use their skill set, and I think we're going to see some really interesting fighting
Yeah,
gameplay.
and I think that's a good part to just drop the live, or not the live, this
Trailer.
Thank you. And here's the trailer.
Here's the trailer. Okay, so as you can see, like the gameplay itself looks pretty cool, and I love the character models, and I love the settings. Tekken always had like really cool settings and really like cool character models. So 32 unique fighters. A lot of them are returning from the older franchise. I believe there's only 4 new characters.
Right, and I think that they're bringing one that hasn't been in the game for like 25 years. I can't remember her name. I think it's his mom. I believe that's what it is.
Yeah, so it's Leo, it's Steve Fox, who's a British boxer.
Yeah.
That guy right there, he's new.
Cool.
I wish I knew his name. I wish I knew his name. But yeah,
There's so many, so it's hard to know all of them.
There's so many, yeah. But the storyline is really good, and I feel like you can you're getting like a taste of this kind of new, not new look Tekken, but like new feel Tekken. So there, if you guys are just listening on the Spotify, this is like their arcade quest.
Yeah,
which
I don't
is
know
cool.
about all this right now.
I think it's kind of cool.
You think?
You could create like your own custom avatar.
Yeah, and you're like playing in an arcade, so it kind of brings you back to that nostalgia factor.
Yeah, you're like kind of playing in the arcade.
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of cool.
Okay, I understand now. And just the character models, like I said, I've never really played Tekken. The character models are really cool.
The character models are really cool, and they're really kind of like out there.
Yeah.
It's one of those franchises that like knows that it's an arcade franchise.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They don't steer away from that. They want to make the fighting realistic, but like they know that this needs to be like absurd and over the top.
Yeah, goofy.
You know, it's an arcade. It's an arcade game. It's exactly what you want.
Yeah, I'm not playing UFC.
Yeah, exactly. You're not playing UFC. I mean, you're playing Tekken. You want like you want a cool, franchise. And that's exactly what we get, a cool arcade franchise. So I'm super excited about it. They are really pushing that custom avatars in the arcade thing a little hard. I think it's cool. I don't know if we push it that hard, but yeah, it should be fun.
I know biggest thing with it. So like we said, there's 32 characters. There's going to be 16 stages, and the stages are destructive and interactive. So I think that's really cool. And one thing that I think that Mortal Kombat should actually kind of learn from them is like the 3D aspect. I think that's really cool that you can kind of, like the dodging is like more so this way. However, from what I've like did my own research, it's like there's not as much vertical gameplay in Tekken. It's more so like dodging side to side, which is kind of cool. And I think that's a cool concept of like making the like it's still 2D, but you have like the 3D dodging, which is really neat.
Like a 2.5D.
Yeah, it's like you're stepping out, like it's like a side step. Like, oh, you missed, which makes sense because you're not gonna jump over somebody and like dodge. No, you're gonna step to the side and stuff like that. And so I thought that was really cool. There's gonna be tons of customization with your avatar, but also the characters, which I think is kind of neat too.
Yeah, I know you love the character customization.
I love character customization. I like character customization to the point where I can slap some cool clothes on. I don't like to do all the super in-depth facial stuff. I just want to slap cool outfits on. Some people can spend hours like creating their character, be like, oh, this guy's, you know what I mean? Like they do the cheeks, they like do the ears. No, I'm like, all right, what's the one that looks like me the most without me have to do anything? And that's what I always pick.
I'm the preset B guy. I'm just like, yep, that one's good.
Exactly. That's kind of how I am. I make sure they have blonde hair. If I can have glasses, they have glasses. And then sometimes I add a little scruff. Other times I just have it clean shaven.
Yep.
Easy enough. A little bit of a long oval head, and then I'm good.
You go even further than me. I'm just preset B. Whatever.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
I don't even want to be in the game. I'll just whatever character you made is fine.
This game looks really cool, and I love fighting games. However, like Mortal Kombat is coming out next month or next week, so I'm gonna be playing that a bunch because I love Mortal Kombat. But honestly, I need to play Street Fighter 5 still, or is it 6?
6.
Yeah, I need to still play that. I really want to. It's been on my list of games to play, but there's just been too many and not enough time. That's on my list to play. Definitely playing Mortal Kombat 1 because like I love Mortal Kombat. And then I will add Tekken to my list of games to play because it looks cool.
Yeah, I'm super excited about it. And I know a lot of people are going to be playing Mortal Kombat, but like you said, Mortal Kombat does come out next week. And this one does not drop until January 24th. So you got a little bit of time in between. Yeah, you got some time. So, if you love the fighting franchises and you're kind of, you've had your fill of Mortal Kombat in the next 3 to 4 months, check this one out. I think it's going to be great. Tekken 7 was great. Tekken 8 looks to be even better, and I'm super excited for it. I'm going to be grabbing this one.
I'm ready.
Now.
I'm ready.
This is what I've been waiting for the whole show. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, as you may have noticed, Adam is not the hugest Tekken player.
Nope.
He's gonna get into
hugest. I've never played.
Adam has never played Tekken, so we thought it would be kind of funny if we did a little name that character with some classic Tekken characters, and the first one is on the board. Adam, who is this?
He's got a leopard face or jaguar, jaguar or leopard. He's jacked out of his mind. Kind of looks like a Ronnie Coleman situation. Looks like he's won a few medals.
He's got some sweet elbow pads.
Yeah,
sweet elbow pads.
We're gonna call this guy, Mr. Leopard Man. Mr. Cat, Mr. Leopard.
You're gonna be disappointed. His name is actually just King.
Oh.
Just King. Yeah. But I mean, I actually kind of like your name better. His
Mr.
new
Leopard
name
Man?
is King Mr. Leopard Man.
I like it.
Yeah, I like it. Okay, next.
Number 2.
Number 2.
He kind of looks like the bear version of Raphael. He's got like a jean jacket going on. Yeah, the red band, karate. What's called?
I like how his wrists are taped up. That's a nice touch there.
He's kind of like the Cobra Kai looking. You know what I'm talking about? What?
Yeah,
Karate Kid. This would be
Karate
Bear. Karate Bear.
You were close. This was Ram Bear.
Uh-oh. Bears
Like Rambo.
Yeah. Oh, I see it. Okay, yeah.
No, I'm kidding. His name is Kuma.
Okay.
But we can call him Ram Bear. We can call him Ram
Bear.
Bear. Yeah. Okay. Who is this?
It looks like he has like some dancing moves, and he's got a cool, again, kind of like jaguar or leopard. I don't know the different spots.
I'll let you in on a secret. This is my favorite fighter of all time.
Okay. Disco Dave. The fighter.
I mean, I wish his name was Disco Dave. This is Eddie Gordo. And Eddie Gordo is a capoeira Brazilian fighter, and he does all of those. You actually would probably really like Eddie Gordo if you. He's super fast, and he does like break dancing fighting where he's like swinging his leg. Yeah, dude, he's super sick. He's so OP. Yeah, this is Eddie Gordo. This will be your favorite character.
Okay.
Next.
She's got some glasses. She's got a plaid shirt. She looks like go ahead.
I'll give you a hint. She has a very normal name.
I was gonna say her name's Hope.
That's a good name. That's a good name for her, actually.
Yeah.
It's not her name, but her name. Yeah, no, that could be a good name for her. Her name is Julia Chang, and I put her in here. Yeah, I put her in here just because I always thought she was the hottest, especially for our nerdy fans. Because look at them. Look at those nerdy little glasses.
I skipped, Dave. I skipped. All right, this is a kangaroo with boxing gloves. It gives me some flashbacks of like Kangaroo Jack.
I'll give you another hint. On this one. Very generic name.
Okay.
It's like a person's name.
Kangaroo Jackie Chan.
Oh, dude, that would have been such a better name. His name is actually just Roger.
Oh, no, it's not.
Yes, it is.
That's awesome.
His name is Roger. He is a boxing kangaroo, and he was honestly one of my favorite characters from Tekken. And for whatever reason, they kicked him out of Tekken 7. So I just wanted to show him some love here. Roger, the fighting boxing kangaroo.
That's so cool.
I miss you, brother. I hope you make it back into Tekken 8.
That's awesome. I think I'll
awesome.
have to. Maybe a DLC character at some point. That was a funny one. Kind of some boring names of their actual names, but you know what?
That's honestly why I kind of picked some of their names, because I thought you would actually come up with better names than what their names really
I like Kangaroo
were.
Jackie Chan probably the most.
Yeah,
And Mr. King Leopard.
Yeah, Mr. King Leopard's a good one too.
But
good episode, man.
yeah, this
Good
was a great episode. I thought this was a great episode, everybody.
This is a great episode, guys.
I don't know what that was, but we did it. But yeah.
My dudes, guys, I love you guys very, very much. I just wanted to throw out there again, we hit 500 subs,
What do you know?
which is absolutely insane. So thank you guys for everything. Thank you for all the shares. Thank you for all the likes. Thanks for sharing with your friends. And again, one last time, if you want to be part of the 500 live celebration, please comment down below. We'll make a character for you. Give us a little hodgepodge of what you want your character to look like, and we will do our best. But thank you guys for everything.
There's a lot of customization in WWE.
Yeah, there's a lot. And we got WWE 2K23, the new one. So there's even more. Yeah, there's a lot. So we can do it. We can do it. But guys, love you guys very, very much. Thank you for everything. Adam, what do you got for him?
If you're not following us on all social media, make sure to do so. Let's Talk Nerdy Podcast, and check out our website, letstalknerdypodcast.com. Got some good merchandise on there. And like Dave said, if you haven't already, share us with a friend. Let them join our nerdy community, and we would appreciate that greatly.
Love you guys very, very much. Thank you for everything, and we will see y'all on the next one.
Peace out, nerds.